Good morning, student. From your plus 2 accounts book part 8 double entry bookkeeping. My today's topic is from your chapter issue of share as calls in arrears and calls in advance. First of all knows what is the procedure of issue of shares. Number 1, application money. Number 2, allotment money. Number 3, first call. Number 4, your second and final call. Now what does calls in arrears? Calls in arrear, any shareholder failed to pay any call like first call, second or final call. In this case, company considered it as calls in arrears. And what is calls in advance? Calls in advance if any shareholder paid first call or second or final call along with the allotment money is considered as calls in advance. Means the person paid the calls in advance. In arrears means not yet paid. So what are the objectives? Number 1, what is the journal objective of this topic? Shows the exact amount of share capital. So first of all, for calculating the total amount of subscribed and fully paid subscribed but not fully paid shares amount, knowledge of calls in arrears and calls in advance required. It means that if you know how to compute calls in arrears and calls in advance, then only it is possible for you to show the exact amount of subscribed capital in the balance sheet. And then only ultimately you shows the share capital in the main head of the balance sheet. So it is very important point for you. And what is the specific objective? The specific objective showing calls in arrears account means that under this method amount of unpaid share amount is shows in calls in arrears account. Any amount which is not yet paid, you can also maintain a separate account, that is calls in arrears account. Without showing the calls in arrears account, it means no need to maintain a separate account. Only in the main account of first call, second call, you can adjust the arrears. Now, what are the key terms? Important key terms. Number 1, reserves and surpluses. Reserve and surpluses are all the cumulative amount of retained earning recorded as a part of shareholder equity for specific purpose. Yes, it is type of cumulative amount of retained earning. First of all, students, tell me what is retained earning? Retained earning means the money, the profit which is not distributed among the shareholders in the form of dividend. Okay, and so what are the main objective, specific purpose, why reserves and surpluses created by the company? Like buying of fixed asset. If in case in future a company wants to buy a fixed asset like any land, any machinery, any plant, and debts repayment, any debts liability to pay for that purpose also, or for payment of dividends. In future, a company wants to pay the dividend to the shareholders. So, number 1 point is reserves and surpluses. It is also the main element of your balance sheet. Now, number 2 is share warrant. Now, what is share warrant? See, students, share warrant. Share warrant are negotiable instrument. They are transferable by mere delivery without registration of transfer. Now, see, without registration of transfer. So, it means that the registration of transfer is possible in case of share warrant, because on the share warrant paper certificate, no name mentioned of the holder. So, you can easily transfer it to some other party. Now, the next term is long-term borrowings. So, first of all, see what is long-term borrowing. First of all, students, tell me what is borrowings? Any idea about what is borrowings? The money borrowed by the company from the outsiders. The liability that represent money borrowed from the bank or the other lenders to fund the ongoing operation of the business and that will not come due within the 1 year. So it means what is the tenure of long-term borrowing? That is within 1 year, not. So key term number 4th is deferred tax liability. So what is deferred tax liability? It is a tax that is assessed or is due for the current period but not yet paid. Due means outstanding, assessed for the current year but not yet paid. It is outstanding tax, and outstanding tax is considered as deferred tax liability. In future, along with the future tax, you are going to pay outstanding tax also. So ultimately you pay more tax. Next one is long-term provision. So what is long-term, students? Long-term means the tenure period more than 1 year. So long-term provision are usually money set aside for employee benefits like gratuity, leave encashment, provident fund. First of all, know about what is gratuity. It is the one of the retirement benefit given by the employer to employee leaving the job. So who provide? Employer. To whom? Employee. At the time the employee is not ready to continue the job or at the time of retirement. So leave encashment. Now tell me, what is leave encashment? It is the amount of money received in exchange for a period of leave not availed by an employee. Provident fund. It is contributed by both employer as well as employee, and at the time of retirement the total amount is provided by the employer to employee. Next, trade payables. Trade means buying and selling of goods. Payable means liability. A trade payable is amount billed to a company by its supplier for goods delivered. Who delivered the goods? Supplier delivered the goods along with the bill. Now it's the liability of the company to pay the amount to the supplier. Our next term is short-term provision. Now the short term, what is it tenure here? It is less than 1 year. A provision is a liability of uncertain amount or timing. Means you don't know what is the fixed amount, which amount you are going to pay for this liability, for that liability, and what is the date, timing. That's why it is for this purpose provision created by the company. Example, short-term provisions are provision for doubtful debts, provision for tax, provision for discount on debtors. So number 1 is provision for doubtful debts. Doubtful debts means sometime debtor pay, sometime debtor not pay. So 50-50 chances. For this purpose, in advance the company create provision. And next one is for tax. For tax purpose, tax is also your liability to pay. For that purpose also company create provision. And for discount on debtors, sometime discount is provided to the debtors. For this purpose, discount is ultimately your loss. You are providing discount. So for that purpose also provision maintained. Next one is tangible assets. All knows what is tangible assets? Yes. Tangible asset is the asset that has monetary value and usually a physical form. So here physical form. It means that you can touch, see the object like furniture, computer, machinery. Tangible assets. After tangible assets, next one is intangible asset. Intangible asset is the asset that lacks physical substance. Means you can't see or touch. You just imagine. You just feel, like patents, copyright, goodwill, trademarks and trade names. One by one, know about all the intangibles. Number 1, patents. The official right to be the only person to make, use, sell a product or an invention. The person whose invention, only that person having a right, official right to make use of that particular name, logo. So like see, in case of iPhone, Whose invention? Apple. Whose patent? Apple company patent. Next one is copyright. The legal right to be the only person who may print, copy and perform, like in case of publisher, book publisher, songs or computers, in case of software, MS software, Tally software. So they all programs having a separate copyright which is only with the few companies. Now, capital work in progress. Capital work in progress is an account which contains all the expenses incurred for generation of asset. For generation, if you want to generate any asset, like example, construction of building. Any cost on construction of building is considered as capital work in progress. On page number 6.11, topic calls in arrears and calls in advance. What is calls in arrears? So, see, calls in arrear means the amount not received by the company. The amount which is not received by the company considered as calls in arrears. So, shareholder against the amount called towards the share capital not paid. If a shareholder failed to pay the amount considered as calls in arrear. Like example, Ram is your shareholder holding 1500 equity shares and final call called by the company ₹2. So total amount 3000 not received by the company from Ram. So it is considered as calls in arrears. So see one example. Have a look. DBH International Limited issued 1,50,000 equity shares of 10 each. So ₹10 is the face value, nominal value of the share, and the number of units available 1,50,000. All calls had been made and received means all your pending call, all your allotment, your first call, everything received except final call of ₹2 per share on 10,000 equity shares. Any person holding 10,000 share not paid the final call of ₹2. So it is a case of subscribed but not fully paid. So see the result. Subscribed and fully paid, and subscribed but not fully paid. So in your statement, 1,50,000 total shares, and out of 1,50,000, 10,000 shares faulty case. So 1,50,000 minus 10,000. 1,40,000 equity shares fully paid, ₹10 per share. 1,40,000 multiply 10, 1 lakh, that is 14 lakh. So the next case is not fully paid, 10,000 on 10,000 equity shares, ₹2 not yet received. So first of all, total amount 10,000 multiply face value 10, 1 lakh, and calls in arrears, ₹2 not yet received. So 10,000 total number of equity shares multiply 2, 20,000, deduct from the 1,20,000, 80,000 you received from these type of shareholders who not yet paid the final call. So 14 lakh, that is 14 lakh plus 80,000. 14 lakh 80,000 is your total amount to be shown in the balance sheet. So two categories here, fully paid, not fully paid. Now the next topic, calls in advance. See your books again, page number 6.11. On your 6.11, calls in advance. A company may receive amount against the call yet to be made, not yet made, but in advance along with the allotment. Any shareholder holding shares paid the first and final call. So consider as in advance means the company received the money in advance, and the amount so received is called calls in advance. It is classified or shown in the balance sheet as other current liability under head current liability. Now here point is why it is a liability of the company. Yes, it is the liability of the company. Reason? Because the person paid in advance. Now in future the person again no any amount on any call will pay you. So see the example. We are on the point calls in advance. Now see one practical problem here given. The M Trading Limited was registered with the nominal capital of rupees 1 lakh in cash of rupees 10 each. So see students, rupees 1 lakh in cash, rupee sign here provided, it means number of shares not given to you, and nominal value face value rupees 10 given to you. So how to find out the number of shares here? Yes students, 1 lakh divided by 10. So total number of share 10,000, out of which 9,000 of which were issued payable as means total 10,000 authorized shares, out of which only 9,000 shares are issued by the company, and procedure 1 rupee on application, 2 on allotment, 3 on first call, and the balance on the final call. Now here final call is also not given, so find out final call amount also. All the shares were applied and allotted except one shareholder holding 200 shares paid the first and final call together with the allotment money. So one shareholder holding 200 shares pay the final and first call before the due date along with the allotment. So it is a case of in advance. Authorized capital 1 lakh, issued capital 9,000 multiplied 10, 90,000, and procedure follow application money rupees 1, allotment 2, first call rupees 3. Now balance on final call, how to find out? Think. Yes students. So see, per share value rupees 10, demanded 1 rupee on application, 2 on allotment, 3 on first call, final call is not given. So 10 minus 6, 4 is your final call money. Clear? Now the next point, shareholder holding 200 share paid rupees 3, rupees 4, both calls in advance before due date along with the allotment rupees 2. Total rupees 9 paid by the person. Now the next 200 equity shares multiply 9 is equal to 1800 received from the shareholder. So find out calls in advance out of 1800 amount. First call rupees 3 in advance, final call rupees 4 in advance, total rupees 7 in advance. Okay, so 200 equity shares multiply rupees 7, 1400 is the amount of calls in advance. Now interest rate. So interest rate according to the table F of the Companies Act 2013, first of all calls in arrears. So calls in arrears and calls in advance, both interest rates are given to you, but in one case company allot, in one case company received. So find out students, in calls in arrears received or allot company? Yes, in this case calls in arrears means it is the fault of the shareholder. So here company received. Whose fault? Shareholder fault. So 10% per annum company charged from the shareholder. And in case of calls in advance, it means the shareholder paid the money in advance and the company received the money in advance. So it's company's liability to pay interest 12% per annum to the shareholder. So both cases in arrears, company received in advance, company paid the interest, or at the rate prescribed in its AOA, Article of Association. Article of Association represents the rules and regulation regarding day-to-day work of the company or a business. So 10%, 12% interest. And now see your homework questions. Number 1 question, what is meant by calls in arrears? Then what is meant by calls in advance? And third one is, what is the rate of interest which can be allowed on calls in advance and calls in arrears? Give the difference between the calls in arrears and calls in advance. What is meant by the term reserve capital in the context of joint stock company? Explain minimum subscription. Now, here links are provided to you, student. Refer these links also for more better understanding of the topic. Thank you.